Welcome to Design Center Ballroom. Today we are visiting the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Chichen Itza in the Yucatán Peninsula on the east coast of Mexico. It's named one of the new 7 wonders of the world. Let's start with a little intro into the great Mayan culture and architecture. And then we take a look at the main pyramid in Chichen Itza called El Castillo. The Maya are an indigenous people of Mesoamerica. The ancient Mayan civilization lived in sections of present-day Mexico, Belize, and Guatemala. And archeological records show tribes dating back as far as 10,000 years ago. The Archaic period before 2000 BC saw the first developments in agriculture and the earliest villages. The Pre-Classic period saw the establishment of the first complex societies in the Maya region and the cultivation of crops including maize, beans, squashes, and chili pepper. The first Maya cities developed around 750 BC, and by 500 BC these cities possessed monumental architecture including large temples with elaborate stucco facades. Beginning around 250 AD, the Classic period is largely defined as when the Maya were raising sculpted monuments and developed many city-states linked by a complex trade network. Maya cities tended to expand organically. The city centers comprised ceremonial and administrative complexes, surrounded by an irregularly shaped sprawl of residential districts. Different parts of a city were often linked by causeways. Architecturally, city buildings included palaces, pyramid temples, ceremonial ball courts, and structures specially aligned for astronomical observations. The Maya elite were literate and developed a complex system of hieroglyphic writings. Theirs was the most advanced writing system in the pre-Columbian Americas. Maya recorded their history and ritual knowledge in screenfold books. Rule during the Classic period centered on the concept of the divine king, who was thought to act as a mediator between the mortals and the supernatural realm. A prospective king was expected to be a successful war leader as well as a ruler. The Maya developed a highly complex series of interlocking ritual calendars, including the infamous long-form calendar that ended on December 12, 2012. Though initially thought to be the foreshadowing of a cataclysmic event, this end date was merely a mathematical certainty. Despite building a vast and vibrant society, much of the Mayan society was wiped out by invading Spanish forces in the 16th century and beyond. The war and disease wrought upon them destroyed what may have been one of the great cultures of the Western. Chichen Itza was a major focal point in the northern Maya lowlands from the late Classic to post-Classic periods. The site exhibits a multitude of architectural styles, reminiscent of styles seen in central Mexico and of the Puuc and Chenes styles of the northern Maya lowlands. The presence of central Mexican style was once thought to have been representative of direct migration or even conquest from central Mexico. Chichen Itza was one of the largest Maya cities, and it was likely to have been one of the mythical great cities or Tollans referred to in later Mesoamerican literature. The city may have had the most diverse population in the Maya world, a factor that could have contributed to the variety of architectural styles on the site. The Maya name Chichen Itza means at the mouth of the well of the Itza. Several archaeologists in the late 1980s suggested that unlike previous Maya tribes of the early Classic period, Chichen Itza may not have been governed by an individual ruler or a single dynastic lineage. Instead, the city's political organization could have been instructed by a system characterized as rulership through council composed of members of elite ruling lineage. Chichen Itza was a major economic power in the northern Maya lowlands during its height. Chichen Itza was able to obtain locally unavailable resources from distant areas such as obsidian from central Mexico and gold from southern Central America. Between 900 and 1050, Chichen Itza expanded to become a powerful regional capital controlling north and central Yucatan. It established Isla Cerritos as a trading post. Chichen Itza's decline may have occurred around the 13th century, when it was conquered by another tribe. Some 200 years later, when the Spanish came to the Yucatan, Chichen Itza was annexed peacefully at first, but resistance eventually led to its abandonment and recapture. By the 1600s, the area was used by the Spanish as a cattle ranch. By the middle of the 19th century, the invention of photography allowed archaeologists to share pictures of the site with the world. The subsequent interests helped fuel numerous expeditions to explore and catalog the site. In 1894, the United States Consul to Yucatan, Edward Herbert Thompson, purchased the Hacienda Chichen, which included the ruins of Chichen Itza. For 30 years, Thompson explored the ancient city. His discoveries included the earliest dated carving upon a lintel in the temple of the initial series and the excavation of several graves in the high priest's temple. In 1926, the Mexican government charged Edward Thompson with theft, claiming he stole the artifacts from the cenote sagrado and smuggled them out of the country. The government seized the Hacienda Chichen. Thompson, who was in the United States at the time, never returned to Yucatan. Subsequent expeditions were sponsored by the National Geographic Society and overseen by the Mexican government. Let's look at more of the fascinating locations at this historic site. Today, the ruins of Chichen Itza are federal property, and the site's stewardship is maintained by Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History. The land under the monuments had been privately owned until March of 2010, when it was purchased by the state of Yucatan. To see this location in person is truly transformative. With over 2 million visitors annually, I'm honored to add it to Design Santa Barbara's list of great locations around the world. I truly hope you enjoyed this episode of Design Santa Barbara and looked into rich history and architecture of Mayan culture of Mexico. I encourage you to visit Chichen Itza and enrich your soul and mind.